Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We have a limited amount of time, so we'll get to some more sharing the next time we meet when we pick up this in a couple of days. So I want to turn things over to Dr. Graves. You're going to be on speaker. I'm going to put you on the speaker so now they can hear you.
Sounds great. Can you guys in the back hear me?
Yeah.
Well, great. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. So I really enjoyed listening to what you were talking about with your fictitious plants. Did you know that some plants actually do produce a toxin or a poison that keeps other plants away? That happens in real life. Yeah, that really does happen. And it's called allelopathy, allelopathy. It's actually a phenomenon where the plant makes basically a poison and says, stay away from me. I don't want you growing by me. That's pretty cool. Well, today we're not going to work with fictitious plants. We're going to work with real skulls. And I'll tell you in a minute what that's going to look like. First of all, how many of you have been with me before? I've been in your class and yeah, good to see everybody behind your masks. That's pretty cool. How many is this the very first time that you've seen me? That's cool. Well, nice to meet everybody. All right, cool. You guys know that I'm Ryson's grandfather, right? Yep. I teach at MSU, but I actually teach adults and they're graduate students. And did you know that Miss O'Shea was actually in a class that I taught once? What? Yeah, can you believe that? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so you guys have been working in your science notebooks, and we're going to continue to do that. I'm going to share my screen and show you some things. So here we go. All right. So this is what I'd like you to think about right now. This question. Okay. So why do animals have different types of teeth? Just stop and ponder that for just a couple of seconds. Why do you think animals might have different types of teeth? You've been talking about structure of plants that you were creating, you were sharing the creations from yesterday. Well, teeth have a particular structure, and because they have a particular structure, they also have a particular function, all right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a video. It's about 3 minutes long, I suppose. But as you're watching the video, I want you to write down one question that you have from the video about teeth, all right? Just a question that either the video is already answering or another question that just comes to you because you're watching the video. And just like you shared just a second ago about your fictitious plants, I'm going to have a couple of you share the questions that you're going to write down from the video. So everybody needs to write one question in their notebook. Everybody good? Okay, so here we go. Hopefully the sound will be okay on this.
Oh, hey guys, you guys are on lunch break. Squeaks and I just stepped out of the lab to have a little snack. Well, at least I'm having a snack. And since Squeaks doesn't need to eat like I do, I was just explaining to him what teeth are for. People have different kinds of teeth. I have molars in the back of my mouth that help me grind up vegetables and other things, but I also have pointed canine teeth so I can tear through things like meat. Being able to eat different kinds of food is really important to help you stay healthy. Other animals have different kinds of teeth too, but while they're all super useful, some of them can seem a little strange. Like, we all know sharks have shark teeth, but did you know many sharks have 5 rows of teeth? Sometimes even more. A shark can go through thousands of teeth in a lifetime. That's because, unlike us, sharks' teeth aren't rooted in bone. Instead, their jaws are made of something softer called cartilage. That's the same flexible stuff that you have in your ears or in the tip of your nose. Since sharks' teeth sit in this soft cartilage, they can lose them pretty easily, especially considering how they eat. Sharks feed by biting down harder than prey like seals or other fish, and they shake them from side to side with a lot of force. This can make their teeth come loose or even fall out, so they need to be able to replace them easily. Luckily for them, they have these rows of new teeth right behind the last ones just waiting to move up. When a shark loses a tooth, it's replaced by another one in just 1 or 2 days. Other predators have different kinds of teeth for catching food. Vipers, for example, are a kind of snake, and they have fangs. When a snake is resting, these special teeth fold up inside its mouth so that they're out of the way. But when the snake bites its prey, let's say like a rat, no, not you, biological one, a real one. When it bites into a real rat, these teeth act like needles. Toxic venom then travels from the snake's mouth through the hollow fangs and directly into the prey. But teeth aren't just for eating. Other animals use them for different reasons. For instance, did you know tusks are teeth? Walruses have tusks up to 1 meter long, and they keep growing throughout their whole life. Male walruses sometimes use their tusks like swords to fight with other males. But both males and females use their tusks for other reasons too. Like when they're swimming under the ice, they can use them to poke holes in the ice so that they can come up to the surface to breathe. And they can even use their tusks to pull their big heavy bodies out of the water. But there's probably one animal that's more famous than any other for its unusual teeth. That's right. I'm talking about beavers. Beavers are well known for their oversized incisors. These teeth never stop growing, so beavers are constantly trying to wear them down by chewing on wood. You might think that chewing on wood all the time would ruin the beaver's teeth, but the front side of their teeth actually has iron in it. Iron is the same stuff that they use to make really strong metals. And it not only makes the beaver's teeth extra tough, it also gives them their unique rusty orange color. Kind of like the rust you might see on an old car or bicycle. So it's this extra strength that makes it possible for beavers to bite through wood for as long as they want to. No wonder they can stay so busy, those busy beavers. Speaking of busy, we have to get back to work. But thanks for sharing your lunchtime with us.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is make sure you've written down in your notebook a question from the video. Go ahead and write that down. I'll give you about 30 seconds or so to write it down. Has everyone written something down?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you give me a thumbs up when you have written something? You've got something in your notebook. Need to see a few more. Okay, looking like we've got most everybody. So for about 30 seconds to a minute, turn to a seat partner, someone around you, and share your question with somebody else. Go. Okay, that should probably been about enough time. So I'd like to hear a couple of questions from somebody. I know the microphone, I think, is up front on the computer, but maybe somebody up front can speak loudly enough that I can hear. Just share a question that came from the video. Maybe Miss O'Shea can call on somebody.
Why do beavers' teeth just keep on growing?
That's a great question. Good. How about somebody else?
Why do beavers' teeth keep on growing?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You're muted.
I'm muted?
I think we just might have to plug it back in, I wonder. Oh, here, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead. You were muted for a minute. We got you
Oh.
up there.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. How about one more question from somebody?
Natalie?
How do the beavers, how do they like get the orange stuff on their teeth? Because I don't think they're born with that.
How do they get the what on their teeth?
How do
The-
they find stuff on their teeth because she doesn't think they're born with it?
Oh, that's a really good question. You know what's really cool about all these questions? I'm not going to answer them. That's something hopefully you can find out, and you can find your own answers to those questions at the very end of everything. If you still haven't found your answers, maybe we can work on that, finding answers together. Okay, but I do want you to keep those questions in mind as we continue on with what we're going to do. All right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you how you can begin to identify skulls of animals, and a lot of it is based on their teeth. And so I'm going to teach you how to use what we call a key. Everybody's going to get a piece of paper that has a key on it. And a key is something that opens a lock or opens a door. In this case, the key opens the answer to the skull that we're looking at. And so let me show you how this works. In your notebooks, I want you to set up your notebook so that maybe you take a single notebook page and divide it into 4 sections. So a line down from the top to the bottom, in the middle, and then a line across the middle from the left to the right. Then, and I can put this screen back up when you guys start working, every skull has a number on it. Make sure you write down the number of the skull. I think there's like maybe 18 or 19 different skulls. So when you pick up the skull, there is a number someplace. It's either in a box or it's on a piece of tape on the skull. So write that number down. Then I want you to take a look at the skull before you do anything else, and then make a guess. What kind of a eater would that skull be? Are they a carnivore? You guys probably know what carnivore teeth would look like. If not, talk to your neighbor and see if you can figure that out. Or maybe an herbivore or an omnivore. So what kind of food do you think that animal that from that skull eats? And then you're going to use the key to find out the name of the animal. So that's going to go in that space too. And finally, you're going to sketch the skull or the teeth, whichever you want to do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. In science, we just do drawings that help us remember what we're learning. So just do the best that you can. Okay, so let's learn how to do this. When you get the key itself, it's a piece of paper like this. There's 2 sides to it. And this is really important because the first thing you're going to do is to look at the top of the page, and you have to decide what kind of teeth are dominant. Does anybody know what the word dominant means? Somebody just yell it out. Yeah. Okay. It's the one that's prominent. It's the one that's, it's the major one, right? So if canine teeth are dominant, then you stay on this side of the page. And then the other one is called incisor teeth dominant. That would be more like a rodent, like a rat or a beaver or something like that. So what you see right here are incisor teeth. Those are beaver incisor teeth. And then back here, we have canine teeth from an animal that has a canine. Then the next thing we're going to do, if you look at on the left-hand side at the top of the paper, it says total length of the skull from end to end. So you're going to need a ruler, and the ruler has to make sure that it's in centimeters. So you may need to double check with each other that you know how to measure centimeters and then also down to millimeters. Okay. Then what you're going to do is, I don't have a skull, but I've got some fish food. So here's my fish food container. Let's pretend like it's my skull. I'm going to measure from I know it's hard to see because my background's going weird, but the total length of the skull from end to end. So I'm going to put this down here. Then I'm going to check how many millimeters that was. And in this particular case, that's 8.2 centimeters. Does anybody know how many millimeters are in 8 centimeters? Does anybody know how many millimeters are in 8 centimeters? You guys done this in math before? Not 8,000.
8,000.
Not 8,000, no.
Bryson said 11.
11 is not right. Good try, guys. Okay, let's do this. Everybody have your ruler. Find the centimeter side and find 2 whole numbers. Any 2 whole numbers, a 7 and an 8, 11 and a 12, it doesn't matter. Count how many little marks are between the two whole numbers that are right beside each other? How many people say 10? 10. Okay. So the big whole numbers are centimeters, but the little ones that you just counted are millimeters. So if I have 1 centimeter, how many millimeters do I have? 10, right? So if I have 8 centimeters, how many millimeters do I have? Thank you. We got 80. Okay. So let's go back to the page now that we know how to do that. So we see at the top, some of those skulls might be more than 180 millimeters. And what we're going to do then is we're going to follow those dark lines down from there because we're in that category of more than 180 millimeters. And then the next thing down is called dentition. What that means is the teeth arrangement of the critter. Let me show you what that means. It's right here. So the teeth, because like you've heard the word dentist or dentistry. So dentition is another term for teeth. In this particular case, starting at the top where the yellow arrow is, we have incisor teeth. This is actually a human teeth arrangement. And so your first 2 teeth right here are incisors. And then the next teeth are your canine teeth, your pointy teeth. And then you've got your cheek teeth or your molar types in the back. Now, did you know that, let me go back to this picture right here, actually go this way, that a skull can be divided in half and the left-hand side of it and the right-hand side of it are matching pairs? So when we count teeth, we draw a line down the middle and then we count only one side. So let's go back to the chart here. We have dentition. It says the top row of the top jaw. So we're looking at only the top jaw of the skull. It says the first teeth, we're going to count how many incisors there are. And so it's kind of hard for me to show, but the first left-hand column under there says 3-1-6 and a parentheses around 5. Do you all see that? Yes? The 3 stands for incisors. That means we're looking at a skull that has 3 incisor teeth. The next number stands for the canine teeth. And in that case, underneath there, or it says 1. And so then it says how many cheek teeth? There's 6. So if we go back to our skull right here, what I would do is I'd lay it open and I would say, okay, this animal might have, first of all, I have to know how long the skull is. And then this would have 1 incisor, probably 2 canine teeth, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cheek teeth. So I would see, does that match up? In other words, was it 1, 2, 5? Well, that's not that one. And so what I do then, if my numbers come out right, I stay in that column and I continue to follow those black lines down. But if the numbers don't come out right, or it sends me over to another column, then I have one that's like 3, 1, and 4. Let's take a look at the picture that's right there in front of us on that chart. How many incisor teeth does that skull have?
4.
I don't think 4. I count 3.
Oh.
I count 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then how many canine teeth does that one have?
4.
Has 1 really big one, right? And then you count the ones in the back. Now, what you have to kind of figure out is sometimes those cheek teeth kind of grow together. So even though it looks like 1 tooth, there may actually be 2 back there. So if you get confused, just ask Miss O'Shea or some adult in the room to come over and help you, okay? But what you're going to do is once you've figured out the top row, you look at the bottom jaw. That's the number of teeth that are underneath that line, okay? So you're going to start at the top by figuring out how big the skull is from front to back. And then you're going to take a look at the teeth and start counting the teeth. And it always goes incisor, canine, and cheek teeth. Top numbers are the top jaw. The bottom numbers are the bottom jaw. And then as you get farther down, they might have you do some other measurements, like more or less than 140 centimeters or more or less than 70 centimeters. Have you guys gotten your keys yet in front of you? Okay, you can cross off the fourth thing down on the left-hand side where it says Lambdoidal Ridge. We don't have to worry about that. It doesn't apply to any of the skulls that you have. So just cross that one off. You can just skip over it. All right? Does this make sense? Does anybody have any questions about this? You think you can do this? Yeah, okay, good. Then let me show you the next one. You're going to do the same thing on the back side of the page with incisor teeth. So if you get a skull that has incisor teeth, guess what? There's not going to be any canine teeth at all. And you're going to either have one or two incisor teeth, no canine teeth, and then count the number of cheek teeth that you have. And then once you follow the chart or the line all the way down to the bottom, the name of the animal's at the bottom. So if you've got skull number 7 and you find out that it's a rabbit, then in your notebook you write 7 rabbit. And that's not the right answer, by the way, but that's what you would do, and then draw a picture of it and then tell what kind of food that particular animal eats. All right. So there's another picture of a skull that you would do that with. Are there any questions before you go on?
All right, I'm going to take the microphone to a couple
Sure.
questions.
You bet.
So there's some questions like, what are they doing in the 4 boxes?
Oh, so that would be 4 different skulls.
4 different skulls. Okay. That's
All
what I-
different skulls. Yeah. Each skull gets a little drawing and a little box.
4 different skulls you're gonna visit, okay? And each is key, so that's why you split up your paper into 4.
Right.
Number of skull, type of eater, carnivore, or what's the other word? Yeah. And maybe the name of the animal, and then you're doing a sketch.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Well, those are throughout the room. There's one